Billy, it's 10 a.m. 10:02. 10:02.
Call the meeting to order. All right, where's the agenda?
In front of you.
Is it this one? Okay. All right, sorry, y'all. This is not my normal position, okay? I've been hanging easy this time. All right, attendance?
Yes, sir. Gary Korn? Absent.
And he told us ahead of time why he did not.
Right. Billy Richardson?
Richardson. I'm here.
I'm sorry, I used to work for Billy Richardson. Billy Robertson?
Everybody more coffee this morning? I'm here.
It says Richardson on here.
Does it really?
Yes,
It sure does.
because I brain farted when.
Mine says Robertson.
Mine says Robertson.
You are in the Richardson, ain't you?
These are the minutes. See,
Oh.
y'all must not have read the minutes like you said you did.
Well, you got me on that one.
All right, let's
Let's move along.
Okay.
Jackie
I'm in
Collier
trouble.
is here, Nancy LaChance,
here.
Sal DeBenedetto,
Here.
and Tim is here.
Welcome, Sal.
Yeah.
Introduce him.
All right, we got a new introduction to the board. Sal, if you would like to take a minute and introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Sal Benedetto. I live on the Sterrett Road, 195 Sterrett. It's kind of at the top of the hill on that area of Sterrett. Not up by Hunter yet, but just below Hunter. Our biggest issue there is the turkey buzzards that keep landing on our house. They love it up there for some reason. It's just amazing. But it's me and my wife, we're retired. She has her kids who live down in Marietta, down the road about, I don't know, what is that, about an hour and 10 minutes from here. My family is kind of spread out all over. I have a daughter in Dayton, Ohio, where we were just before coming here. And my son lives in Durham, North Carolina, with our 2 grandkids. I guess I wanted to be a part of this because I really, I like being involved, and I like listening to people and trying to work out solutions for everybody. So if anyone ever needs to get in touch with somebody and you can't get one of the experts to my left, I can be your second string. So I can do what I need to do to help out in any way I can. I'm the at-large member, and currently my big project here with the board is working on the policies for the short-term renters. So that's my big assignment currently. I guess that's it pretty much. Oh, in my career, I've had a long career that I never got any promotions or advancements on because I started at the top. But I was always my own boss and never had to answer to anybody but, well, all my patients, because I've been a dentist for 38 years. But I'm retired from that now. The arthritis won't let me do that safely anymore.
All right, well, thank you, Sal. You've been a great asset so far, and you will continue to be, I'm sure. We got to do approval of the minutes.
All right, from the minutes from November 19th, 2022, are there any corrections?
Fix my last name, please.
Will do. Any others?
I didn't see.
All right, I motion that we approve the minutes with the correction.
Second.
Aye.
All voting?
Aye.
Aye.
Properly, we should all do that, say yes,
All right,
properly.
moving
Good?
on. Yes.
All right. Old business, Trout Lodge, Jackie?
Yes, excuse me, we've not established the committee, the final committee, but right now we have Tammy Ingram and Jessica Crocker, and I will be part of that committee, or I'll be working with the committee. We are going to look at different packages for owners, property owners, and package levels for non-members. And set it up like a professional rental or a party place, event place. And we're also gonna have, we wanna look at what repairs need to be done and make recommendations for that. I know that there's a lot of exterior damage to the place, because of the bees. So that needs to be corrected. But, I've not really made contact with Jessica and Tammy about meeting officially, and if anybody else would like to be part of that Trout Lodge committee. This is strictly for setting up rental process and keeping in mind that the owners already pay toward the upkeep of that place with our dues that we pay every year. And there's no reason to penalize the owners with much higher rental costs when we already pay toward that. That's a big issue with me. And so if anybody in here or online, if you wish to be part of that committee, my TRCRA email address is secretary@trcra.com. And I am finished with that.
All right. Next matter, it is going to be me with the maintenance rotation schedule. Now, I'm just adding this in more or less kind of like a evaluation every month, but once a week for a certain area. So, for instance, the goal is to have a consistent maintenance rotation for better upkeep for TRCRA. So, for instance, it may differ when we do finalize something, but for week one, we would do Applegate area. Clean road, both sides of gate, clean, maintained lake, sweep, wash pavilion, check compactors areas. There'll be a checklist box, and they'll just, check, see, okay, everything's fine today, move forward, go on to their next big ticket items. This is just something that they do in their downtime, and when they're in the area, they just go ahead and check off a list. Week two, oh, by the way, on Applegate roadside, the trash, we only own so far past the outside of Applegate, unfortunately. So most of the time, volunteers pick up that trash out there, me and a few other neighbors. But I don't know how far we would be allowed to go cleaning out that way.
We control the right-of-way all the way to the curve.
The
where
paved
creek
part?
goes on. No, all the way to that 90-degree turn.
Oh, okay.
We control the right-of-way, and we're responsible for that, but we don't own anything, off-
Land-wise, okay. So we could possibly pick trash up,
Absolutely.
okay. Well, that'd be nice. So
Community event.
that's the goal. And then, week two, they move to marine pool area, check the areas, check parking lots for, this is just preemptive strike stuff so that we don't have to wait until something's broken before we fix it. It would just be like, oh, hey, this is getting close to maybe needing some new striping or seal coating, or the gate's a little loose, it might break soon, or it's just an evaluation type thing that they can go by quickly and just do something when they got a little free time. This is not going to be something that, is going to be driven hardcore. It's just something that they can do that's going to benefit us all really soon. The Trout Lodge would be a week 3 area. 136 gate area would be week 4. And the reason I put 136 as the last area is because everything's in the front. The maintenance area, they come in there every day, so they're gonna have eyes on the front gate, the plants, the parking lot, the areas around that they see every day. So they'll be able to determine at a better rate what is going to be needed over in these areas. So I have a nice draft, but I didn't print nothing out. So that's my fault. I'm reading from the phone right now, but I should be able to get something up soon, right, Jackie? On maybe website or once we approve.
The sample?
Yeah, the sample.
We can put the sample up as a sample.
Okay, because we still got to approve everything. So
And I added on here, not on this one, that we check ant beds every every time.
Yeah, I do recommend
Not just
pest
once.
control for the playground areas and entryways, like at these bushes and stuff. They like to nest up and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
they do somewhat of a regular routine on some of this stuff because carpenter bees are a mess. They attack every structure we have. So, but yeah, I would like that incorporated as
Oh, I didn't
well.
put the carpenter breeze on there, yeah.
Well, I know, so
forgot.
this is, there's still a lot that I've probably even forgotten. These guys do so much for us, and it's hard to add anything else to their plate, but we're just trying to put a little, organization to some of it to try to help everyone out. I think that'll be it for that one. We are doing the STR update for Sal.
The Benedetto.
I just said Sal, I'm not gonna try.
Yeah, at this point, I've just been looking into the whole thing, the whole issue of short-term rentals. And I'm trying to identify concerns for not only just the resident owners, but the renting parties. Because we are a residential community, mostly, foremost, we're a residential community. So having people come through here on a weekend basis can be disrupting. We'd like it not to be. On the other hand, we're not all just a rental community. I mean, there's a lot of people that have property here that's investment type property. And some people have, I've got a guy down the street from me even, who bought the place that he bought just so that he could make it an Airbnb. As a matter of fact, the place that we own was a woman's retreat for crafting weekends before I bought it. So, so yeah, it always been short-term rentals. It's not anymore. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. So I kind of try to identify, and if you guys have anything to add to that, certainly talk to me after the meeting, but that the resident owners need to be concerned with things like trespassing. Will somebody who isn't living there maintain the property well? What about those guests that they have the use of our recreation facilities and our pool? And what about liability issues and things? And the renters, I mean, they've got money invested. They pay dues, which helps us, but they need to have access to the property for the people that they're renting to. They need access to their property for the cleaning crews that have to come in between people. They will want to, whether that happens or not, they will want to use our facilities as a selling point for their renting. And again, there's liability issues with that. And then the next thing that comes down the pipe, the way I see it, is as we, TRCRA administration, become more involved in the regulation of those things, the more that is going to put a workload on TRCRA staff. And so we want to try to eliminate that or minimize that as much as possible, because these guys are busy enough as it is. They don't need a ton more stuff to have to do. So, I mean, I'm still working out some solutions. Like I say, I'm certainly open to suggestions from any of y'all. My first thing that I don't think there's really any leeway on is with respect to the pool and rec facilities, owners only. We don't have a lifeguard. There's no way we want to open ourselves to that kind of liability. Pools are notorious for liability. We just can't do that. So we're just going to have to say, I'm sorry, you short-term renters, but the pool is not for your guests. Unless somebody really is absolutely adamant against that, I don't see any way that we can do anything else with that. There's other things we have that we have some leeway with here and there. It may come down to people who want to do short-term rentals having some kind of a fee they pay, either annually or semi-annually, to offset the costs of gate access things that need to be done so that their people can come and go without risking our, I won't say security, that's a strong word, we don't provide security, but at least limiting the access to any kind of riffraff that comes through. And riffraff can come through with people that are
Residents.
residents but also the people that come in to do services, the cleaning people, the landscape people, those kinds of people. 'Cause remember, if they're not living there, they're not doing their landscaping, which again is an issue to us residents, because we don't want to see something that looks relatively not maintained or not maintained at a level that we're comfortable with. So we've got all those things to consider. So there may be something that we need to do with that. Maybe registering people that come and go who aren't owners. So that would mean renters and the subcontractors that those people have. But we've got to deal with that at some level. And so I'm looking more closely into that. We are looking at people, what is it, in Canoe and Bent Tree that we're using as resources. Not that we're going to model after them, absolutely. But we like to use some other people's experience to help guide us to where we're going. So that's the kind of things that are going on right now. So anybody's got anything they want to add to that, just see me after the meeting and we'll talk, and I'll certainly get recommendations from y'all. I think that'd be real nice.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Sal, good job. Let's see, where was I? Property manager, Tim, we gotta do a report. Good news, I hope.
Mostly, yes. I think everybody would think that. A couple of areas I want to cover. One, something everybody has probably noticed for some time, that our gates have been a real problem with a perfect storm of all the different issues that can happen to gates that are aged like ours. So the board has really stepped up and said, we're really going to have to just make a major effort here to get this problem fixed. And Gary Korn has really taken the lead on this and spent a lot of time on it. So we just got in this week 3 brand new whole sets of heavier duty hardware that opens and closes the gates that'll be being installed this coming week. That the mechanical side will be definitely taken care of for some time to come by getting better and brand new under warranty pieces of hardware. So that's a big plus. And then we are also working at getting the software side of things also coordinated better so that it all functions the way it's supposed to. So codes will work when we want them to work, and fobs and everything else will actually do what they're supposed to do. Excuse me, about to sneeze here.
Look up the light.
Yeah, really. So anyway, that's been a big effort, like I say, and so that's about to happen. So that's great. Also, along with that, we've also gotten in a bunch of new security cameras to go in the gate areas that will be able to read license plates, that will be able to get much better pictures of the vehicles than we have been able to do in the past, so that, and hopefully even nice pretty pictures of the driver. That's what we're shooting for. And in all conditions, so that night doesn't affect it like our current cameras do, to where it makes it really hard to see things on any of the recorded footage that we have. We're also getting the backup part of the recording side of things also upgraded. So all of that's happening so that in the next week or two, we're going to see a big improvement on what happens at our gates and better ways to enforce, the idea of only authorized people being able to be in here. That's phase 1 of what we're going to do, because there is a phase 2 that's coming, and that is something, we're going to add something, probably have to do one gate at a time over a period of maybe over a couple of years, because it's pretty expensive. But we're going to put auxiliary, what are called barrier gates at each gate. And what that is you've seen the arms that go up and down like that. But these are going to be timed so that if somebody wants to try to follow the vehicle in front of them in, they're going to get their car damaged, because the gate's going to come down in an amount of time that they won't be able to make it under there. And they'll be warned with signs ahead of time, that if you try to do this, not only are you going to get your vehicle damaged, but you're going to buy us a new gate on it. Because if they break it, then they're responsible for it. So that'll improve things a lot from these, situations of people that just wait until somebody else goes in and just come along behind them kind of situation. So but that's a little bit more down the road. I think we'll be able to do at least the main gate, the front gate here as we call it, this year. And then possibly maybe one of the others this year, but certainly within the next fiscal 2024, we should be able to get them all going like that. Along with that, we the board has been working diligently on getting our rules and regulations revamped so that they're updated. It's been a while since we looked at what they ought to be and what penalties ought to be for certain violations and all of that. So that's been revamped and is now being put out. It's already posted to the website. And so there's like a 2-week comment period, basically. If anybody has any feedback, take a look at those. It's about 14 pages. It's not heavy reading. So
That's about what it was before.
right, yeah. We didn't really add in terms of content very much. There are a few things that have been adjusted. One that will be of note is the one about replatting several lots into one thing. That's gone and come over the years and been changed here and there. So the covenants and bylaws have always required that a resurvey has to be done to get it drawn and recorded with the county, the appropriate county, that in order to say this is one tract of land now. But one of the features that we're changing is that the idea that you can take, it has been up to 6 that can become 1, and then you only have 1 association fee. We're modifying that to where up to 4, and the first 2 that are put together is 1 association fee. After that, each additional lot brings half of the normal fee for a lot with it. So if you do the maximum of 4 lots together, you'll be paying what's the equivalent of 2 association fees total. That way we don't lose as much revenue for combining lots, and yet it's still there's some benefit in doing it, obviously. So that's just quick and dirty on that. But and then you can look at some of the other things. It's mostly the penalties, warnings, and fines that have been adjusted otherwise. So we are going to be also then, along with that, doing more enforcement. Now that we've kind of got our accounting almost exactly where we want it, and some of the time can be devoted more to getting out and about and seeing what we can do to enforce those rules where they're not being followed. And of course, with the new website, it's not so new now. We're 6 months into it, but some people still don't even know we have a new website. But it's a communication device so that we can, you can let us know if you see something. There's a way to say something that lets us know, what's going on. It can't be everywhere. We don't have security staff, if you will, or really would just be patrolling staff. That security word is something we probably want to get away from, because that's a legal term that if we're providing security, then we take on a whole lot of liability, and we don't have that here, and don't want to have that liability out here. So, but to try to provide better for rules and regulations enforcement. And then the big thing I've been working on the last several months is how to deal with the problems we have had over the years of delinquent accounts. Okay. If you've looked at the budget, you've seen over the last many years that there's this interesting little item on there that's called doubtful accounts, which is a huge subtraction from what we expect to bring in. And all that means is we don't expect to get this much money in because we don't think these people are going to pay us. And it has been about 1/3 of the total up to this point over the last several years. So in other words, if we round it off, we should be getting in about $1.5 million if everybody's paying, and we've been getting about $1 million. So that $500,000 has to be kind of written off, which is very significant, and since we would like to pave roads and we would like to, upgrade our water system and other things like that. So finally, with a lot of input from a lot of people, come up with some ideas that I think will be able to help it significantly even this year. Because we have currently somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 lots that have not been performing at all for more than 4 years. And the statute of limitations on collections on people that haven't paid anything in 4 years is we can only go back that far. So the ones that have been let just sit there for a long time, we're going to not be able to recoup that money, but maybe we can actually. Because what I'd like to do is take a multi-pronged approach, and that is, first of all, using some folks that are either contractor employees to make calls for the folks that are just starting to get behind, and go ahead and encourage them to get current with us or set up a payment plan or whatever they need to do. One of the things that the current market has allowed is for the idea that the association can just take possession of the properties if the people just say, I haven't been there in 20 years, I've never swum in the pool, I've never walked down by the creek or anything, fished in the lake, and I've just been paying all these dues and I'm just tired of it. And we say, well, we'll sign a quitclaim deed, we will, call it even basically, and then the association acquires the property, and then of course we try to quickly market it and to recoup, and that's how we could actually recoup in some cases more than is owed on that. And the first example happened last year actually. We had a lot that was a great view lot way up kind of what's called the Hunter Hood up there off of Arrow, and a lot that we had in it to get break even. We needed to get about 9,000 for it, and we sold it for 20. So we actually made a profit on that one. Now we won't be able to do that on every one. We have another one on Sterrett down kind of close to the lake where Garnett is. That's been on the market now. Went on the same time that one did. We had one serious offer for a little while, but the guy withdrew it before we got the earnest money. But that one's still there, and we're about to acquire about 8 or 9 more that are already in the works. And so we're, but the willingness to acquire those lots has been lacking over the years because the market, just wasn't there. So if the HOA had it on their hands, what are they going to do with it, kind of thing. That has helped to get us somewhere here, because just that willingness to do that is going to make a difference in the fact that we can be more aggressive in what we're going to do. So, of course, turning over properties to our collections attorneys, which the attorneys that we have on retainer to help us legally also have a collections division, and that's built into all these HOA attorneys' offices. And so we have for years been turning over lots to them, but there have been different times where boards or whoever have made decisions to kind of tie the lawyers' hands on being aggressive with it. Because it does, up front, we have to fund certain things like lawsuits and all of that, but they're all added to what the person has to end up paying. And but the problem is when we get a judgment, then we still have to be able to figure out how to actually get the money out of it. And in some cases, the only asset is the land itself. So that's why us being willing to acquire the land becomes important. Because in the past, it's like, we got a judgment, we can't find any assets in this state or in any other states that we can get at, so we're stuck. But now we're not, because, like I say, if we can get the asset that is here, the land, either into the HOA's possession or into the hands of responsible citizens that do want to pay their dues and do something with their property and all that, then that can be a win-win situation. So the next idea above, when even before it goes to the attorneys, or in cases of lots that we already have judgments against but haven't been able to collect, is when they haven't paid their taxes for a while, the tax commissioner has something to say about it. Well, in the past, the tax commissioners of our 3 counties, but mainly the 2 that have a lot of lots in them, have just been on their own kind of to figure out which lots to put on the market, because there are a lot of them that are in these conditions, over 300 in here, that are way behind on their taxes in addition to their dues with us. So, and most of them are in Gordon County. So I've talked with both of the main Gilmer and Gordon County tax commissioners, and they want us to give them the lots that we think, because they guess at it. And the most recent Gordon County tax sale had the problem where 17 of our lots were in there that they had chosen. 9 of them got a bid, and there was only 1 bid, the lowest, which is set at the amount to take care of the taxes. So those other 8 are still in the condition they were in, except it cost the county something for each one to try to auction them off. So obviously that's not a great thing for the county or for us. And so talking with them, they want me to give them lots that will be able to sell in the tax sales. So we're going to do that, but in a much bigger way and in a better way by allowing for a list of lots, but also to get the word out to people. I've already got almost 40 current owners that are interested in participating in the tax sales like this, and in a way that they will understand that the minimum bid is a thing of the past for our lots. Okay? Because what happens when the tax commissioners lien, the back taxes are satisfied, any extra money goes to the next lien holder, which in every case on empty lots is us. And that's usually the only other lien holder there is. So if, say, the 4 years worth, which equates to, with legal fees, equates to maybe as much as $4,000, that's owed to us that we can't get otherwise, well, tax sale, we can bid up to at least get some of that, if not all of it, depending on the lot. You know, some of them might be a $20,000 or $30,000 lot that somebody's going to get. If the taxes are $1,000, then they would probably be willing to pay $4,000 or $5,000 for it. So by bidding it up, we can get that to happen, especially with people already understanding that's what's going to happen. And if we don't get a bid after we bid it up, then we'll own it. But we'll still get back the excess amount above the taxes. So the most the HOA will pay is the amount, the minimum bid, basically, because we will get refunded any amount that we bid it up above that. So that's a little down in the weeds, and I'm sorry, but I just wanted to kind of get the idea out there that we have an aggressive way to do that. The ones that have paid their taxes and disrespected us, then the lawyers will have to file a suit. If they don't want to pay up, then we can put them on the auction block as well in what's called a lien foreclosure sale. It's the same thing. And so then we can still get them into the hand. It's just a much longer process that takes many months usually to do all that, to take all the steps that the law requires before you can take someone's property that way. So, but that's already in the works. So we're going down an aggressive trail to hopefully this year get at least half of the lots that have been delinquent, to get them paid, and maybe even make profit on some of them, you know, in the process. And then within the next 2 years, I think we can have like 90% of the lots in here actually performing the way they're supposed to, possibly more than that. That's my goal, and that's where we're headed with all of that. So thanks for listening to all of that and that detail that there. All along the way, though, in any of the processes that we're doing, the option will always be there to people to we call it deed over, which means just, you know, if you can't meet your obligation and you just want to sign it over to us, we'll do that. And then we will try to turn it over, you know, through legal and open and honest means, not no backdoor deals with people or anything like that, but to legitimately get them into the hands of paying customers, as I like to call them. Yep. So, and I can take questions afterward. We're not going to do it right now.
All right, is that all, Tim?
That's it.
All right, thank you, brother. Good job. Nancy, financial report.
All right, so this month, Tim said we're out of the weeds with financials, but we're not 100%. It's really a problem based on all of my looking and seeing things of the reporting out of QuickBooks, and that is not ready for prime time. However, we are working, one of the things that I have been empowered to do is to find an accountant that I can work closely with to really help us get the reporting coming out and to make sure that the expenses and income are correctly recorded so that we get the reports that we really need. We've made huge progress. We now have a list of all accounts payable, and we've got them name by name, so we know that absolutely. We've got it all locked, we've got it all put together. We do know that there are some strange things that happened in the migration that still are not accounted for, but we are on track to make that happen. So for the first iteration of this reporting, assessment, and changing bookkeeping processes, I will be working with Gail Hilburn, who was originally hired to help us with the whole migration. And the reason I had some doubts about her, but I am very comfortable now after several conversations that she's the right person and she already has the background. I am giving it a month, so we are the month of February to get us to a place where I can get a decent profit and loss statement, balance sheet, all of the cash flow statement, all of the reports that we absolutely are required to provide to you, so that we are ready for an audit. And she's going to be coaching me and working with me. And if I do not find that satisfactory, and her support that satisfactory or overpriced or any of those problems, I am empowered to go out and seek another one from either the Pickens County area, Jasper, or Chatsworth. So we'll get somebody close that I can go travel to their office, work with them face to face. But we will get these financial reports on track, and I am setting my own deadline to say we need to be able to do it by February, and I'm going to be working with them regularly over the course of all of the weeks between now and the end of February to make this happen. So that's good. I do have, however, we have all of the bank documentation. So I know, even though in the profit and loss statement, for example, when you look at income, you're gonna get a number that doesn't make any reasonable sense. And that's the number, but that is the book number. What we do know is that our income at the end of the year, we had $433,775.40 in our checking account. And at the beginning of the year, we had $201,755.77. So we have a substantial amount of money in the bank that kind of supports that we are doing the right things and on the right track. Our total deposits over the course of the year were $1,418,444. Our total withdrawals were $1,135,215.33. So that's money that came in and went out over the course of this actual fiscal year from January 1st to December 31st. We know that that's in black and white. We reduced that a little bit because some of it came over. So we moved some money from our reserve fund over to our checking account, and then we paid it back out again for the road pavement job. So the actual difference between our deposits and our withdrawals is a positive $283,244.67. That's the amount of money that we have beyond our income and expenses for last year. Right now, of that, the only thing that is deceptive about that number is that we've already collected. So people in this community that are payers are good payers. I mean, you guys are superstars. We collected already just from the 15th of December when the invoices went out to the end of December, about $78,000 against 2023 dues. So some of that money is mixed in, and that's what we're trying to get sorted out in our reporting, so we can see what came in for 2022 and previous, and what came in for 2023. So we know, over the course of the year, how much money is actually coming in and how much is going out. So, at the beginning, those are facts. At the beginning of the year, we have 4 basic accounts that we work in at the bank. We have a operating account, $585,775 is in it as of the 19th. The report that was run on the 19th. So we have over $500,000 in our operating account. That's a little bit more than that's a lot of it more than we really need. So what we're proposing to do is to take we've approved doing is take 125,000 of that, which still leaves us a good cushion in case of something coming up or whatever, like all the cameras and all the things that we're buying, because we may have some upfront expenses that we have to pay before they actually, are in the budget by month. So we're going to take 125,000 of that. We're going to put in the reserve fund. 75,000 of that will go to the reserve fund, which currently has 205,799, and will then have 280,000, which gets us up to where we're about at 300,000, which is good because that will help us to pay for road paving projects and other major things that we need to do. Or if a disaster occurs, we'll have money that will protect us from having huge amounts of excess expenses. And then we're going to move 50,000 of it into that collections fund. Currently has 0 in it, but it has been set up at the bank, and we'll put that money in as seed money that will fund all of these acquisitions that we're going to do and all the purchases and the lawyer, like the legal fees, etc., so that we can track what is in all of our accounts receivable that are not for this year. So if it's a this year invoice, it'll go into the into the profit and loss statement. If it's prior to this year, in other words, past due, it will go into that collections fund account, so that we know what we've gotten past due versus what we're getting on our regular basis. So that's a little bit, I hope that's a little clear, but that's the strategy that we have. 50,000 to start. We are collecting money already against last year, but now we'll be able to easily see and track what's going in and what's going out against collections. Just to note that we do have an outstanding debt. For 90 days and under, we've got about $1,100,000 outstanding. That's just 90 days and under. So we have every belief that we will most likely get a good chunk of that money. Maybe. It's hard to say, because some of those people that are mixed into that are people that have also longer term debt. So they may have some 90 days, but also some over 90 days. I will calculate that number, because I think that would be an interesting one. Of that $1 million, how many of those are people that already have way overdue accounts because they're separated into 2 separate sections? I will run that number because I think it's a good one. But then we have 3,928,182.61 that's over. That means it's prior to last year, and those will be the ones that we'll be working with on all of these collection strategies. So Tim went through a lot of the collection strategies that we're implementing. Just know that we are going after this, and that we know we're not going to get it all back, but we think we can get a good amount, and that will help us as we move forward, have long-term paying people and increase our income, so that we can even go more aggressively at repairing roads and doing all the things that we know need to be done. So that is my current, this month financial report, and I thank you for listening.
All right, good job, Nancy.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, Jackie, new business?
Yes, sir. We've been discussing an office update, and this past week, just kind of rearranging or putting in a wall or a counter. There's all kinds of options because of, first, there's a storage and a space problem in the office, and we've got to make some remodeling decisions and seek some bids and estimates. But we want to, and as Nancy put it when we met, we need to talk to the people who live there. The people who are working there every single day of the week and extra hours, to see what they really want. You know, we can come in there with all kinds of, that's not our decision. It's those people who are in that space. They need to just say, this would be nice to have here. And some of it is for their protection. I put my foot down on things like I still want that office area when you walk in to be warm and welcoming. And I don't want to put any metal cabinets, sticking up in there. I don't want it to look, like a courthouse office or something, when you walk in, you see all the cabinets everywhere. I don't want that. That's not how we live up here. And the office needs to reflect our lifestyle. And also for protection and maybe somehow some kind of barrier, whether it's a counter or just the way the desks are arranged or something. It's so wide open right now. And I don't think we want to rush into this, but there are some issues that have to be resolved. There's old stuff in there that needs to be stored somewhere. There's stuff that just needs to be gotten rid of. Paige is sitting in that back office with all that stuff in there. And it's a good thing she's back there because of what her job is. She can't be up front counting money and getting all the distractions. And she really likes it back there. So anyway, that's in discussion. And I just want to let you know that's just something that's we've been talking about and they've been talking about. Don't know when that's going to happen. No decisions have been made because it's really up to the people who are there to make those main decisions. Okay, that's it.
All right, good job, Jackie. All right, I guess we're going to be doing this announcements for the rules and regulations. Nancy?
And this is just an announcement because the board has approved the update to the rules and regulations that Tim referenced. They are online, so those have been approved. Based on the bylaws and a careful reading and legal advice about the bylaws, the rules and regulations are owned by the board. So we need to keep on top of them and make sure that they reflect current realities. So all we did in this iteration, we didn't make any fundamental huge changes. We did not rewrite everything. We went through, we updated. So for example, they were referencing four-wheelers that don't exist, some kind of an equipment that doesn't exist anymore.
Three-wheelers.
And three-wheelers, and we changed it to four-wheelers. Yeah, so we updated, we changed wording to clarify, so we clarified some things that were worded funky. And we did update the fines to more be in line with current pricing because we want to make sure that if we're going to fine, and because we've got all these cameras going in, if we're going to fine, the fines that we're imposing are deterrents to the activity. We do not want your money. We do not want to collect fines, but we do need to deter bad behavior. So that is the deal. There will be a question. Put your name in. All right, so that is the rules and regulations. They are on the website. Please go out and review them, and you can. It explains to you how to review. When you review them, you can then communicate with us if you have any comments or whatever. And we will certainly be listening to you, and we are interested in your opinion. And this is not the end of the story, so we may revisit as necessary to make sure that these are reflective of the true way we want to regulate the behavior within the property.
Good to go? All right. If anybody has questions, it's after the meeting. Everybody can talk to us after the meeting. I just want to re-clarify that. Some people get a little antsy. All right, Nowak Howard, Tim?
Yeah, Nowak Howard is a new law firm we're using. They specialize only in homeowner and condominium associations law. So that's been their thing for a long, long time, and they're good at it. So they have online seminars for all of their clients. The clients can't participate other than listen and watch, and you can through a little communication way, ask questions, or they take little polls about certain things and then tell you about them, that kind of thing. Anyway, this past week they had one that I listened in on, and it was about just being on a board and what that means, and what some of the responsibilities, some of the things you need to focus on, and that sort of thing. So it's great information, and it doesn't, it just kind of reiterated stuff that probably most of these board members already knew, and things that I've been learning since I've been property manager, just about the responsibilities that you have, that you're taking on for no pay. And it's required that there can't be any pay of any kind to board members because of the conflict of interest thing and all that. Liability concerns, things that they need to make sure about, even talking about like minutes, which Jackie's very good at, and just ways to streamline things as a board member to keep that up. So it's not stuff that would necessarily be of great interest to the general public within a community, other than people that might be interested in being on a board. But that would be ongoing. They provide each year they'll provide a board training directly for our board only. That would be an interactive question and answer thing, and so that's something that they will do, and that our board took advantage of right after the previous election, and we got a new board, and that's already been there. So that's what it was about, and there'll be other. The previous one had to do with going down a number of very pertinent cases in law that affect HOAs and condo associations, but we don't need to go there because we're a homeowners association, and some of the things, like the idea we've been talking about, security, that was actually established in a court case that happened in the past 2 or 3 years, where someone was injured because a mugger got into an association, like a townhome type thing, and hurt somebody, and then the idea of, was the association responsible because security was not being provided? Well, it turns out that they weren't responsible for what happened there, because they had taken all the care and concern that they could in terms of their gates and all of that to try to get things repaired when they weren't, and that sort of thing. And there's still, people can sneak in over walls or however they want to do it. So the HOA is not responsible for security unless they were to do something just totally grossly negligent that would invite problems for the owners, which obviously this board is not interested in doing anything that's going to harm our association. So anyway, but there were, just to let you know, there's seminars that we're going to continue to get more continuing education that will allow us to do a better job.
Let me just piggyback on that for 1 second.
Sure, go ahead.
In that, I just want, and I think the most important thing to come out of that discussion is that your current board of directors is taking seriously the opportunities that are being afforded to us and doing these additional trainings. So we all signed up for the webinar. If we couldn't attend, we will watch it. We have recordings and documentation. So we are aggressively looking to fulfill the responsibilities of a proper board of directors and to do things the way they're supposed to be done. And also it shows you the value add of being a client of Nowak Howard, because they are offering some amazing resources to help us do that. So,
All right, good job.
I need
Jackie?
to,
What, you
okay,
piggybacking too?
I need to go back to piggyback on the rules and regulations.
okay.
The new fines will not start until
Oh,
February
sorry.
1st.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, you gotta make that.
The new
Yes,
fines
yes.
begin on February 1st.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay.
That was an
It just
important thing
struck
I was
me all.
supposed to state.
No, it just
That's all
struck me
right.
all of a sudden.
All right, now, do your lovebirds.
Oh, yes, we're gonna have a grown-ups dinner party, dancing, and, the event committee has worked on a calendar for the year. And as soon as we get that, set in stone, I'll have that sent out for everyone to see. Karaoke, bingo, all kinds of fun stuff. Pirate night, movie night in the summer. But the first one will be February 11th, which is the night of the first date I had with my husband in 1977. So, it was not chosen for that reason, however.
That was a long time
Things
ago.
might get crazy.
It
You
was
sure you
a
want us to
rock-
come?
I was 16 and he was 17.
Sounds like a song.
I know. Oh. Musical. So we're gonna play a variation of the Newlywed Game, and that should be fun. We've got Roger, who's here for karaoke. He's gonna be the DJ, and if anybody wants to do karaoke. And the committee is catering the whole thing. So all you have to do is show up. And Tammy will be handling the meats, and the rest of us are handling all the sides, the appetizers, desserts. But you must RSVP to attend. It will be held at the Trout Lodge. And I think, how many do we have RSVPing already?
Right now, we're at about 32.
Wow. Whoa. Good
Yeah,
job.
that's a good,
Yeah.
that's a good crowd.
Oh, we throwing down. We need 2 trout lodges.
Oh, we got
Is
downstairs.
that 32 people or 32 couples?
That's 32 couples.
Couple.
Couples.
Four people.
Wow.
Wow, you may
Yes.
have to grow on the route. Well, it's a good problem to have.
Downstairs,
Yeah.
I've never been in there, so that,
Really? Oh, it's awesome.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful venue.
It's about 3 times the size of this room.
Oh, yeah.
It's downstairs.
The
Yeah,
downstairs
yeah.
is big, that's right.
so,
Yeah.
Lots of sitting areas.
Oh, and dark.
yeah, I'm gonna find a corner.
All right, behave.
The Trout Lodge will hold that many.
And these will be posted and sent out website and all that wonderful stuff. Back to the rules and regulations, the resolution. I need one more initial by Gary, and it will be scanned and uploaded to the website to show how we have permission to do that, and that we all voted in favor. Has to be unanimous if we're not meeting at a board and voting on it. So we did it through Zoom meeting and email, and all that's discussed here, that we did it legitimately, and that will be uploaded as well. Thank you.
All right, I'm just going to add on just a little bit before I close the meeting. I just want to note that all of us up here are doing our best, and I just want to note that we're also trying to add and implement ways to educate the community on how things are supposed to be done and should be done, and more transparent communication between us all. And I think this website that we have is a big part of that, so I really want people to hop on that website train and voice your opinions and really see what that thing has to offer as far as that goes. But we are trying to, start offering more education on how things are supposed to and should go in here. So I just want to thank all y'all. Good job. Thank everybody for coming. Meeting adjourned.
Nope,
No? Why?
we have to.
No, I move
What'd I
that
do?
we adjourn the meeting.
That's after the
Second.
adjournment.
We have to move in motion. Okay, say your,
You gotta vote?
say your motion.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Third.
Billy and Gary.
Talk, Billy.
Look, you know what you got with us, all right?
Don't make me handle this.
I will do it again.
Nancy motioned. Jackie seconded.
Y'all see how we fight all the time?
We really get along well.
We do.
For now.
I'm scared of y'all, so it don't matter.
And vote was unanimous. 4-0.
All right, do we need to do the questions?
Yep. Do we want to continue the report?
Yeah.
This is,
Okay, yeah. I like that. Yeah. Have a record.
All right, questions, sign up sheet, Diane Matlin.
I really think the question that I really want to discuss or ask Sal was about the STRs. I just wanted to be sure that you realized that we did have an STR committee that was formed, and they listed their issues, and things of their concern. There's also another group, though, that's called the Homeowners Advocacy Group. And they more or less represent the homeowner, not the STR, but the concerns of the homeowner and the residents here. And I think Beverly chairs that, as well as myself. I'm with her on that. We would like an opportunity to compile the information that I think would help you make policy and decisions on how the residents feel and what their concerns are. So I understood that you said that earlier, that you wanted that input, but I didn't know, with you being new, if you knew we had that resource, that we actually have those groups.
That's Nicole Seymour.
No, it's
No.
STR
She's
is
the one that did
Nicole,
it, yeah, the STR.
and then their homeowners advocacy. So they are
They're two
looking
separate
at,
groups.
yeah, rentals from the homeowner's perspective
I've seen some
primarily.
emails
Yes.
back and forth from, but I'm not really sure how some of that thing fits together. But absolutely, I would welcome, I really would rely on
Yes,
the information that you all give me.
yes.
And I'm not gonna just arbitrarily wave my hand and make a decision. Anything that I, quote, make a decision on goes back to this body. They have to vote it in before it can be real. But I'm gonna take what you all tell me and make the pitch to them.
Right.
So
Do you
that
have
we
a
can see that
timeframe?
everybody,
Are you
I don't
looking
have
at?
I don't have a hard time.
Okay, see,
I'd
that
like
was
to get
our
this done.
concern, that we wanted to have the time. We kind of backed off because there were so many other priorities going on at the time, the finances particularly, that was
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
But now that things are slowing down and correcting, we want to be sure that we have a chance for all the homeowners
Yeah.
to voice their concerns, and we need a little bit of time to do that, to advertise through our group,
Right.
so we can get this information to you.
Sorry, guys, I kind of got to be the bad guy and cut you off there. If there's anything else y'all
3
would like
minutes.
to do, 3 minutes. Anything
Did I
else?
speak 3 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. I got the stopwatch on. Y'all combined, I
I'll catch
guess.
you later, Sal.
There you go.
I'm just trying to stay out of trouble, okay? If there's anything else y'all want to talk about, please meet up after the meeting, and y'all can catch up. Sorry, sweetie. Next will be Jimmy Morgan.
I want to talk really fast. No, I'm just kidding.
No, go ahead, 3 minutes.
First off, Tim had to write me a warning letter the other day.
Okay.
And I just wanted to apologize for that. I threw some stuff in the dumpster along with my household garbage that I should not have. But I just want to apologize. We're a bunch of grown-ups. I shouldn't have done it.
Well, thank you, appreciate
Well,
that.
You're welcome. I mean, I was in the wrong. But needless to say, my wife and I, we purchased property at 1143 Embry Court. We've going to build our house several years ago. I've been back and forth with the county about my soil analysis. So I'm still interested in some adjoining property beside that, to where I still want to build a house back there. But my issue is that we ended up purchasing a house off of Federac Court. We live down there, we purchased this house, and I'm wanting to start doing a little bit of remodeling stuff on it. It's actually a manufactured home that had a 2-story addition built to it.
Okay.
And the house is vinyl siding with mobile home windows. And what I'm wanting to do is redo the siding to a T111 like the house and put house windows in it. I'm trying to get the place fixed up because whenever we get ready to hopefully build at the back lot, I wasn't able to build back there because of my soil analysis with the county. So I've been back and forth with them this whole time. We were ready to close on our construction loan, and they said, I'm not gonna give you the permit. I ended up hiring another engineering firm out of Dawsonville to come down, and the county has just been very difficult.
On repairs?
No, sir, on the,
Oh, it's soil analysis.
Oh, the new one.
saying the land was too steep, and I've got an extensive grading and concrete background. I went out there and shot everything in on the appropriate contour lines to put the existing and my replacement system. But the way the housing market has been right now, I hadn't been able to get nobody back out, and I've just been sitting low on it. So that's why we purchased the house at Federac.
Okay.
And like I said, it needs a lot of updating and stuff like that, but I'm trying to make it to where it's gonna be more of a woodsy looking home to where it looks like it belongs there.
Okay, so what is your question exactly?
what do I need to do in order to have the approval to do that? I know the county
Uh,
said I don't need nothing from them.
Right.
Okay, you would get with the ARC, but I would think certain home repairs,
Like mobile home windows, I don't think you need.
I don't, if it's a repair, I honestly don't
Yeah.
think you need
Yes.
much
You don't
approval.
need-
But I would always take the right channels, just in
Okay.
case. Go through the ARC channels and just double check with those folks, and I think you'll be fine along those lines. We want you to do beautiful work to your home,
Yeah.
that's for sure. You wouldn't get a no out of us, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There is an application form, there is an ARC application
Yeah.
form on the website.
Yes, ma'am.
So you need to make sure you go to the website and look for the ARC committee, and all that documentation is there.
Also available through the
Yeah.
office.
Also
And they check
available
them
through the
daily,
office.
and Tim's well informed in the ARC, so, I'm timed out, but, just take that into consideration, just follow those channels, okay? Chuck, Beth?
Go ahead.
I have
I have questions too.
Sure.
going back to Tim, we have a lot of lots up here that might be considered unbuildable. Okay, and if they're a lot, I'm sure the county wants taxes paid on. Do we, if the owner comes to us and says, I wanna give you my lot, and you've got to look at it as unbuildable, do we accept it?
Not in every case,
Okay.
and we look at them first to see.
Because my concern is, if we accept that lot and put it in CRA's name, we may be responsible for taxes.
Yeah, we will be, yeah.
And so I would think that would not be a good business decision to accept it. Now, let's see, if the property owner goes delinquent, can we limit access to the mountain?
No, you cannot legally keep someone from getting to their property, even if they're delinquent.
Never.
Amenities, yes, but
Amenities, yes.
Yeah.
Common ground only.
Amenities, water, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
water,
Yep.
I have questions.
Are you done, Chuck? Because I'm gonna start her a fresh time. Go ahead.
Oh, I have a couple questions. One for you. You were talking about the rotation schedule.
Yes,
with the
ma'am.
maintenance. Have you discussed that with Terry? Or is
Like I said, it's something that we've drawn up to implement. It's not anything that we have discussed with Terry per se. It's something that we'll bring across, and if we decide we want to do it, we'll pass it down to Tim, and Tim will pass it down to Terry. We personally aren't talking to maintenance like that. That's not our job to, per se.
That's true.
right?
We're doing what we're supposed to do and following the rules. It's not that we wouldn't want to. We love the people. They're great. We support them in every way, shape, and form. And their opinions would be greatly valued.
Yeah.
Ideas and all, yeah. So that's one reason probably why it's not finalized just yet. We still want to get everybody's input and everything. This was just an idea that I drawn up just for a starting point,
Okay.
and to kind of help progress the place into, kind of a better upkeep. Not that they're not doing great, it's just a system, and it's just kind of a regular thing for everybody, so.
Okay.
Anything else?
Another question.
Okay.
As far, let's see, who is that for? This is for Tim. Couple things. When you're talking about upgrading the gates and the security system and everything, that not only benefits us, but also benefits the RV park. So are we going to suggest that they help with the funding and the financing of these upgrades? That's one question, and I have another one. As far as collections, so if they're like 4 years in arrears, we cannot collect from what I understand. But if they're like 3 years and 250 days, and you put a lien on their property at that point, we can still try to collect as long as it's not 4 years. Do you understand my question?
I
If
think
we
so.
start the process before the
Yeah.
4-year limit is up, can we still collect?
Yes.
Okay, so that was an easy
Yeah,
question.
there's a few nuances in all of that, but basically, the thing is not to sit on just somebody getting more and more delinquent. You start
Absolutely.
after, you're technically not delinquent until the end of a year. Like at the end of 2022, If someone still has dues they didn't pay in 2022, those are now delinquent in 2023. And the ones for 2023 won't be delinquent until January 1st of 2024. So you can go back those 4 years previous. And but to never get there, once it's past 1 year, then we're going to be taking the first step, and then if people don't respond, we'll go to the lawyer step, or if taxes are there, we'll be able to use tax sales. And we will deal with it so that we never get again with somebody being past 4 years.
I gotta be a bad guy, I just wanna say that 3 minutes was up, but I'm gonna let you finish the answer and.
Yeah, the other question is, yes, the board and the board of the TRCCA, the Campers Association, are going to be meeting soon to discuss the relationship. But last year I actually did, or I'm sorry, the most recent billing that we did to them, I included costs for the gates, the maintenance and the administration thereof, and some of the other things that hadn't been done in the past. So they paid about twice as much as they had been paying in previous years, and they're about to get the bill for next year, for last year as well. I was working on that yesterday to get that there, so that there's a shared cost for the things that they're helping to spend, and they'll help to pay for.
I just have a quick question. Do you have to sign up for it, or can you just add to the conversation?
Go ahead, as long as I don't get in trouble.
Oh, you won't get in trouble.
Any others on the list first?
No more on the list, so that was it.
Repeat offenders is really what you're talking about. When you say someone's 4 years in the rear, that's just continual, that's repeating every year that they didn't pay. Well, why does it get to that 4-year point? Why haven't we in the past? Because some are even more delinquent than 4 years. Why haven't we stopped at the end of that year and either exercised what restrictions we have on a person? Why haven't we already done that in the past?
Well, I don't want to throw anybody under any buses.
I was gonna say, the only thing we can do is speculate, but.
I do know that, well,
Only
again,
previous boards can answer those questions.
Well, I mean, common
Yeah,
sense.
that's right.
Don't we have a
Biggest
rule
board.
though? Don't we have a rule? Common sense would tell you, how does somebody get to 4 years? Because if we can go to 4 years, then,
Right.
hey.
Somebody knows
it's not
somebody or
supposed to
knows
happen.
something.
That's what I'm saying. But what I will do is say that things weren't done the way they should have been done in the
Right.
past, but we're
Right.
changing that so that we don't get
So
there
we're not
anymore.
gonna get somebody again that's 4 years in the rear.
That's correct.
Well,
Well,
we
trying
I
to.
mean, we have,
With-
so what our goal for this
Stay
year,
involved.
we're really working to say, if they're delinquent and they're
Yes.
never gonna pay, we're gonna either absorb the lot or do something so that they're written off. And that's the problem, is that we're not writing them off saying, these people are never gonna pay. And there are some people that are never gonna pay. I mean, there's people that are dead. Like, they're probably not gonna pay their past dues, so.
Really gonna
yeah,
deal with them.
yeah.
I understand.
I'd like to say something here. The 4 years is a number only from a standpoint of how far back we can go back.
Legally, yeah.
It's not anything about 4 years is some magic number that after 4 years something else happens. It's just we can only go back 4 years.
I understand.
So if they owe 10, we can only get 4 from
Yeah,
them.
Right.
Yeah, they could be, yeah.
10 years ago, that should have been addressed.
How did
We
they
want to
get
stop
to
this.
10
Let's
years?
stop the insanity, that's one of the goals that we have this year, yeah.
And again, over these last 10 years or so, market conditions were pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I know that when we first moved here almost 4 years ago, that there were attempts to have auctions in here that would start at like $1 per lot, and they couldn't get anybody to show up. So it was difficult then for boards to look at and say, well, if we get aggressive, we spend a lot of money on lawsuits and all that, we're still gonna get stuck with something we can't do anything with, and
Right.
we'll still be dead, so,
Yeah.
you know, why spend that money up front to do that, to get the lawyer, because it costs upward of $1,000 to go through all the legal steps
I
against
understand.
any one single property, so, and we have to front that, and we'll get it back, most of it, if and when we actually collect. So that's, I mean, again, there's a lot of reasons why it didn't happen, but we're not gonna focus on that, we're gonna focus on the way it's supposed to happen from now on.
Exactly.
All right, anything else? Everybody good? Y'all came in a little late. Y'all have any questions? Good to go? All right, everybody, have a great weekend.
Thank y'all for being here.
He cut me off. You never know.
Hey, I had to.
But I think you